What's the creepiest announcement your school ever made? It was a completely ordinary Tuesday in October. Second period, the kind of gray morning where half the class was asleep on their arms and our teacher had given up pretending we cared about algebra. Then the speakers crackled. Will Adrian Wells please report to the front office? Adrian Wells to the front office. Nobody reacted at first. Announcements like that happened 10 times a day. But I remember thinking one small thing. I had never heard that name before. Our school had 600 students. You knew names, at least vaguely. Nobody knew an Adrian Wells. 5 minutes later, the announcement repeated. Same flat voice, same exact words. Adrian Wells, please report to the front office immediately. That's when I noticed our teacher. She had stopped mid-equation, marker frozen against the whiteboard. She stood there for a second like she was counting something in her head. Then she walked to the door, turned the lock as quietly as she could, and went back to teaching like nothing happened. Except her voice was different now, thinner. A kid near the window asked who Adrian Wells was. She said, probably a new student, and moved on so fast, it was obviously a lie. The third announcement came 8 minutes later, and this time the voice added something new. Teachers, please disregard the bell schedule until further notice. Continue your current lessons. Disregard the bells? Now everyone was awake. Phones started buzzing under desks. My friend 2 rows over texted me that his teacher had locked their door too, and pulled the blinds, and that another teacher was just standing at her window, watching the parking lot. The theories started immediately. Someone said gas leak. Someone said a fight had gotten out of control. Someone swore they'd seen 2 police cars pull in with no sirens. Every guess sounded worse than the last, and nobody could check, because the hallways were completely, unnaturally empty. We sat through what should have been the passing bell. It never rang. 40 minutes past the end of the period, the speakers finally crackled again. All students, please proceed with your teachers to the gymnasium for a brief assembly. Brief. Something about that word made it worse. The gym was silent, in a way I'd never heard it. 600 kids, and you could hear the bleachers creak. The principal stood at center court with 2 police officers behind him, and he opened with a sentence I'll never forget. First, I want you to know that everyone is safe. Then he explained. Adrian Wells wasn't a student. Adrian Wells wasn't a person at all. It was a code. A phrase the staff had been trained on years ago. One most of us had probably heard before without ever knowing what it meant. When it played over the speakers, it told every teacher in the building the same thing. There is an unauthorized adult inside the school. Location unknown. Lock your door. Do not alarm the students. The whole gym reacted at once. Every boring announcement we had ever ignored suddenly meant something. The principal continued. That morning, a custodian had noticed a man walking the second floor hallway during class time with no visitor badge. When she approached him, he turned down a stairwell and disappeared. So the code went out, and for over an hour, while we sat in our sealed classrooms inventing rumors, staff and police were searching the building room by room. They caught him because of one student. A girl in a locked classroom saw a man slowly testing her door handle, and instead of freezing, she whispered to her teacher, who radioed his exact location to the office. One observation ended the whole thing. Then came the part that made my stomach drop. The officers said the man had been inside for almost 3 hours, which meant he entered around 7:40 that morning. And at 7:40 that morning, I was walking in through the side entrance by the gym, and I held that door open for a man carrying a cardboard box, because he smiled and said his hands were full. I sat in those bleachers doing the math over and over, hoping I was wrong. I wasn't. Police later confirmed the side door was exactly how he got in, but the detail nobody has ever forgotten came last. The man wasn't a thief. He hadn't touched a single locker or office. In his jacket was one folded piece of paper, a class schedule. He was there for one specific student, a girl whose family had moved districts over the summer to get away from him, protective order and all. Her schedule was in his pocket. Her second period class was room 214, my class. She had been sitting 3 seats away from me the entire time.